know we usually would do this with like three people and whatnot. It's just I haven't like I forgot completely to tell you the truth. But then you texted me at like 9, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot we were doing the review thing today.
There it is.
It's like
Awesome.
and now I have to like go with like smoldering intensity.
Can we just talk about Jack Black? Okay, performances real quick. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Jumanji, the remake had Kevin Hart, The Rock, had Karen.
It's not a
Gillan,
remake. It's a sequel.
Oh, excuse me, the sequel.
Yes.
The sequel. And
Yes,
Jack
that's one
Black.
thing that people need to get. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle is a sequel. It is not a remake.
Such a good sequel.
So many people are like really harping on.
But we're just worried because that's all Hollywood does.
Yes,
is
yes,
remake.
we were really, really worried. But the fact that they made a sequel is the reason why this movie is right now the #1 movie in America for like what, 4 weeks running?
Easily.
Easily.
It's such a good family movie.
Because honestly, to tell you the truth,
the original one.
I would
how,
go
like,
back and watch
adult-
this more than I would watch The Last Jedi.
No. Because the
Yes.
franchise of Star Wars is too big.
No, I would actually go back and watch this one. This movie is actually, to tell you the truth, a first like movie I would actually buy at the store, the DVD, as a box set with the other one.
Okay, okay.
Because that's the thing, I have not bought a box set of any movies
Wait, hold
since
on. So
probably.
what they used to do is like they would package like the two movies and then something in between. What would that like
The
little gimmick
cartoon.
thing item be? Well, no.
The cartoons.
Like an actual physical something other than like something to watch. Like what would you choose to be
Ooh.
in the center? Like what would be in the cereal box kind of thing? If this
An
was
actual
the package
no.
set.
If it was a box set and you open it up and it's the Jumanji board game.
Ooh, shut your face. That's cool.
I know, right?
That's cool. All right, board game tokens. I was thinking that too. Like they come with the
Like
the,
you open it up and
5
it's like the
players or
Jumanji
whatever.
like board game, and like of course in the middle, it's
Oh,
just
the set of die. Yeah, the set of die, and then a keychain cartridge of the Jumanji game.
or
Like, that
how
might
about
be
this?
Easier to produce.
You know those like those console like mini console games and whatnot that you can just plug into your TV in the HDMI port.
Hey, Danny.
And it has like some controllers. What if it had like little mini controllers? You could just pull. It came out of the box,
Okay.
or you could plug in whatever controllers you wanted USB into that thing, and it was a mini like Jumanji game that came with a box DVD set. It would be like $100 or
Oh.
something, but I would
Yeah,
totally
like,
pay for
the
that
cost
shit.
is way up now.
I know,
versus
but I would
just-
totally pay for it. I would pay that
You're not
money. I
wrong.
would just be throwing that money at the screen. Like,
So you've just
I would just be like, take my money, take it.
Also, Danny, welcome, sweetie.
Oh,
Or
yes.
an item of the character piece. Yeah, that's kind of what the board game tokens put together. Keychains of like the die, or I guess like you would put the monkeys
Yes.
from the first movie, and then what would be a like? Was there even an animal in this second movie that
Yeah, the squirrel.
that? Ooh, the squirrel. Yeah, but like the squirrel, it itself was not Gimli. What am I thinking of? Comic relief.
Yeah, it
Because
was.
all the other characters themselves were so comedically good. They
Yeah,
were
but the
gold.
squirrel like
I mean,
spooked him. Like, it was like,
This-
what's
this
where are the
year,
odds of
that's-
just a squirrel sitting there just like, and he goes ah, and he like falls out.
And at least it was a squirrel.
It was
Because like in
squirrel.
the beginning of the movie.
It could have been any other dangerous creature in the jungle, and there is a squirrel. That is not its geographical location where you would find a squirrel.
When they just
That
got
was the
into,
game trolling him.
when they just got into Jumanji, into the video game, and they weren't sure that Spencer was the Rock. Like,
Alright, so know
was
what?
that a squirrel initially?
You know what? We're gonna have to. Okay, so here's the question: do you want to go ahead and start with the first or the second movie?
I think this is focusing on the first movie, bringing focusing on the new
Se-
movie, bringing the first one in. That's my
Okay.
thought.
So
Hey, Sean, what did
so
do?
we're gonna pull the topic as him. We're gonna start with the second one and go back. We're just gonna
I
roll
think
it
we
on
have
back.
to.
We have to
Because
because that's the one
we're
that's in our
here
most
now.
recent memory.
We're living in the moment. That's
Yes.
why. Because we're here.
We
This is
we
what's
live in the
happening.
moment, people. That's what we do.
Okay.
Okay.
So with that in mind, how do you want to break this one down? Because it is different than Star Wars. Because Star Wars
We can
has
still
this
do it in the same
way
categories.
more
though.
history.
We
Say
can
it
still
again?
do we can still do in the same categories of plot, characters, action. There's gonna be way more action in this one than the other one
Good
because
point,
there
good
is a
point.
lot of action.
Because the other one was a war.
I
So it's like,
know,
you
but there
kinda
wasn't
wanted
really that much action. There was more.
the action was so red. Oh, that was like 95% of the action. Can I get?
Oh yeah, have you heard? There's this thing called Kylo Renning now.
What?
Yeah, there's
I
a
don't
thing
know what.
now where guys like post a picture of themselves like with like that thing that
The
goes
high
up to
pants?
yes, and nothing but that. Yeah, there's a video on it on YouTube or something that's like making fun of it too. It's called Kylo Renning. It's basically you just take a picture of yourself in like those high pants going up to here, your bare chest showing, and you just like post that on like on the internet.
I'm not gonna lie. It's brilliant. Like in terms of
It's like
whoever
what?
came up with it and then had like the Disney Star Wars people be like, yes, make it so. And then they like hit up influencers and they're like, yo, just raise up, hike up your pants. Hike up your pants. Hashtag Star Wars. Hashtag Kylo Renning. Hashtag delicious. And it nailed it. Nailed it. I think that's the wave of the future when it comes to this kind of stuff. Friends! Oh my goodness! Friends, thank you so much for that sub. That is like that's actually a bald eagle, like it's so weird. It sounds like a seagull. I try to like imitate it anyway.
Okay, I
Anyway.
want someone to come into my chat and spam like Twilark's emotes like all over the place.
I don't have emotes.
What?
So, like,
What?
no,
Someone.
because I don't like.
We'll
I don't say,
we'll chat
"Hey,
after
sub
this.
to
I
me."
got
No.
something.
I don't do the things with the things. Everything's for charity. So
So?
thank you so much for supporting the stream, man. That's pretty
You
fucking
got-
dope of you.
You
Also,
gotta
I'll hit
have-
you back up for your what am I thinking of? Nameplate. Yeah, Hippo. I don't have emotes. Also, Hippo, would you care to join us on this call? Talk about Jumanji. I'm in if you're in.
Are you down? Are you down? Down.
Like
It's
how
like you get to
Jack
be
Black
in between
emotes
us two
every
sexy
fucking
people.
word.
Like you're gonna show up right in the middle right here, and we're gonna be on each side, and you'll be part of that.
It's just so beautiful. In this movie. Like, I just recently saw a movie with Jack Black in it. I couldn't even tell you what it was called. It's on Netflix, and it's about
Bernie?
this like polka dancer. No, but
Oh,
Bernie
oh.
was so good.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Bernie was crazy. I was like,
Bernie was beautiful. So like,
I
the
feel like
Polka-
yeah, the Polka
yes.
King. That's it.
Bernie and the Polka King rival each other, or King of Polka. Yeah. Because one is an actual documentary on the actual person, and then the other one is Jack Black playing that person. It is just so fucking good. So there, I believe like all three of those movies are available on Netflix. Bernie, you have got to check that one out.
Yeah.
It is.
You
It
see,
is Jack Black.
the thing is,
No,
Netflix
actor.
has been like green lighting like everything that they possibly can.
But Bernie is like not a Netflix original. Bernie was like released in theaters kind of things, but it was one of those like real like under the radar, specifically only for awards type of movies. And
Zion
Jack Black
Fox.
just
Said she
Killed
hadn't
nails
seen the
over
new
them.
one yet. Ah.
Oh, it's out now.
It's
Spoiler
like,
alert.
Zion.
There's no butt play. In case you were wondering.
I thought you went to see it already. We're going to send you to the movies.
It's cool. It's cool
Next-
if you're like not into it, into like what Bernie was. But it's just such.
It's a weird,
it's
interesting
a departure
story.
from Jack Black. Yeah, and
It's
and
the
so-
story of it all and how like how basically this situation somehow happened
and it's a real thing.
and it
so
and
if
it
you
happened in
like
real
that
life.
movie-
That's the thing. It's like it's just the way that like, you know, it just shows how what's the word I'm looking for? How
like,
diverse.
reality is stranger than fiction sometimes.
Well, that and also how diverse Jack Blackton's like acting, like, you know,
Yes.
repertoire actually is. He can do so much.
And speaking to that, that's why it's important to see him in things like The Polka King, and to see him in things like Bernie and the Nacho Libre, and then to truly appreciate how there were moments in Jumanji when it's not Jack Black. It's a 16-year-old girl.
Yes.
Like a pretty girl just oh my God, just fawning over Nick Jonas. Just giving Nick Jonas mouth to mouth, and then me realizing that's not a
That's
17-year-old
Jack
girl.
Black giving him mouth to mouth.
Oh, just, like all up on it. Oh my God. But I didn't when I was watching it, I was seeing the characters. I was seeing just job well done. The same thing with Karen, the same thing with The Rock. Karen, as if we're on a first names basis. But the same thing with them, where it's like The Rock, I totally could see just a nerdy little kid in The Rock's body. But at the same time, is it The Rock, or is it, no, it's Vin Diesel who plays D&D. Right? It's Vin Diesel who did Riddick.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
isn't Riddick supposed to be his D&D character, and then they just made a movie about him or something?
Really?
How
Man, that makes me appreciate Pitch Black even more now.
Cool. So cool. Like
It's
the
like-
movie itself.
Because
like, what-
Pitch
okay,
Black,
yes, yes,
in my opinion, is like one of the best movies. Like, it just came out of nowhere too.
Wait,
But it
which
was
one?
like Pitch Black. It was
yeah.
it was basically the first Riddick movie. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere, and it was
good.
like, I'm like, damn, this movie's really
It was
good.
sci-fi. It was futuristic. It had great tension, and it didn't give you everything about the world. You had to learn about the world as it was coming. Then you learn about the character. Because it had depth. Because Vin Diesel already had this character, and they were just working on it. And it was so beautiful. It was so,
And
wait,
I
since we're
actually
talking about
did
Jack
en-
Black,
I actually did
anyone
enjoy
see D-Train?
the Chronicles Riddick. Now, Riddick, the third film, it was okay. I actually did like watching it. I just didn't think it was impactful in that storyline. Like, it didn't really do much. Like, he was just there.
My God.
It was just a situation that happened to happen to him before, like, you know, probably the real film that's probably going to come up next. Okay, so
I love this. I love nerds in general being more mainstream, and we see that in The Rock's character being more accepted. We see that in general, that this movie is set in a video game environment, and it's easier to do that now because more people understand, like, oh yeah, like Wreck-It Ralph, that like it's easier to have a movie like that now because all of these little things make sense, and you can like have a bigger audience. So like, and it's people like Vin Diesel and like The Rock when in their portrayals of stuff, of nerdiness and nerdy things that make it
Fox, I have
awesome.
seen Jupiter Ascending. We actually own Jupiter Ascending because we thought that was actually quite an underrated movie too. And I think the
Is that
reason
the one with
Christian Tatum or
Is that
Channing
Vin
Tatum,
Diesel?
sorry, Channing Tatum. And what's her name? Mila Kunis.
Yes. Okay, I was gonna say
Channing
Mia,
Tatum
and I
and
was
Mila Kunis both star in that movie. And I know people, like, they harp on that movie so badly, but I actually liked it.
it's difficult to like. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be
But
a complete
but
separate
you know what?
group of people that say these are these type of fantasy type of movies, and they get a different type of ranking system And I don't know. I don't know. Because, like, you can't put that and then you put it against Titanic, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so it's like, ah. So, yeah, so it gets underrated because it's being covered by Marvel Universe or it's being covered by all of these other, like, just these other movies. So it's like, how do you take this movie that only had 2 hours to develop an entire galaxy and universe and all of this stuff and then be like, okay, but now we're actually just here and we're two characters and we're trying to, yeah, I feel like it needs a different
I thought Jupiter Ascending
to
could have
grade.
probably used the show treatment rather than the movie treatment because there was a lot to take in for that particular movie. I think that's the reason why so many people got lost in translation on that one.
Hey, bloop.
Okay, so
Interesting. So
we need to let's get into our topic right here. Our
back
main
to why Jumanji is poop.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
So let's start with the first section, the plot. All right. So plot. Since we're going from recent memory right here, for those of you that don't already know, hold on, let me see if I can find a way to put this out here for everybody.
We are over here if you want to see us.
Spoiler alert.
Oh no! Oh no! This
No,
is it.
even though we've already revealed like half the
We're
stuff
talking
anyways.
about the thing with the things.
I know. I understand, Fox. You haven't seen it yet. Go see it. If you want us to take you to see it, just give us a call. You know where we are.
If you guys don't know about Movie Pass yet, it's $10 a month, and you get a little card. So like, and it looks like a
For
credit
what
card.
theaters,
and then
though?
you get. Say it again.
For what theater branches though?
All of them so far.
Really?
Even like independent ones. It's $10 a month, and the idea being, you pay these $10, you get the app, you show up within 100 yards. That's my Safeway card. You show up within 100 yards. You get on the app, you select which movie you want. I wanted the 8:40 showing yesterday. Hit it, it checked it in, and it said, "Cool. Now your card has like the money."
You
and
probably
then
don't want to like show off your card number to everybody.
I mean, like,
it's like
moving too fast. but yeah,
it's like y'all don't see this.
like,
Someone's gonna like
credit card thing though.
I'm not well. Someone's gonna slow that down in slow motion. Be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 2. I got that. Yeah, let's do it. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, you're seeing all these weird movies in like Saginaw.
Yeah, Movie Pass, guys. Especially if you live in an
Siberia.
area.
It's like when did I go see movies in Siberia?
Well, those movies would be cheaper. So, like when I was visiting Texas for the holidays, it was they're like $5-6 tickets, but here in Seattle area, they're $13 or so. So just paying for Movie Pass, I'm saving $4 a month if I just go watch one movie. It's kind of ridiculous how they have it worked out. And the fact that the company's not bankrupt is insane. $10, you're not wrong, is at least like 33 meals, give or take, as Mexican rice and beans. But hold on there, ready, set. Entertainment is kind of cool too. So like 33 meals or like 30 movies in the theaters. So now you put it all together with like AC costs and free bathroom, which means you can probably take their toilet paper. So now you're saving money. Throwing it out there, Sean Joko. How have you been actually? What are you doing?
See, that's the thing. It's like I feel like the more we talk into this, the more I hear on this, I kind of want to go into the first movie and then segue into the second. The reason why, here's the thing.
Okay.
The second movie complements the first movie. It also harks back onto that second movie, and it actually reveals quite a few things about the first movie.
And I think that's why we stick to the first one. I mean, we should stick to the second one and bring up when it happens.
Okay.
Twilight advice: go to the theaters, steal their toilet paper.
Okay. So let's keep going here. Okay. Start with the plot. Okay, so the plot of this film is as is. The second Jumanji film, Welcome to the Jungle, pretty much follows exactly where the first one left off. The board game was found on a beach by a passerby, picks it up, takes it home to his family. He brings it to his kid. He says, "Hey, check out this game." He opens it up. He's like, "It's a freaking board game. No one plays board games." Closes it, tosses it to the side. He goes and just starts playing his video game. And of course, the Jumanji game, like, it sees this and it's like, "Hey, he just put me down. The heck?" And so he wakes up the next day, and all of a sudden he looks beside him, and like, the Jumanji game, it has somehow changed. He opens it up.
No. It's doing the drums. And those drums, like, fucked me up. Oh my, like, I started getting chills in the theater.
I kind of just want to, I wish I had a soundbite available just for the drums.
But they're, like, so ominous and so intensely weird.
I know. Those are some intense drums.
They really are. Like, I don't think they were that scary in the previous movie, but in this movie, they were just. And maybe it's because, like, I'm older now, and like the idea of something actually happening to you, like if I woke up and then I'm in my room just hanging out playing some video games on my PlayStation, and then just like like I would shit myself. There was no holy shit.
I think Twilight found some drums for us. Hold on, let me see if I can just post these in the chat. Just for...
No, they're so scary. Because he used to run at our ocean beach. See, yeah, and then it's also the running father on the beach. By the way, was a second homage to Robin Williams.
He put it right in the clips. Thank you.
On our ocean beach, nearly daily. That's crazy.
Cat
cool.
Morgan putting in the drums in the clips.
Nice. I didn't realize. I didn't even know he was San Francisco native. So that's even like way cooler. What? Okay. So, dude running on the beach grabs the board game, gives it to his kid. Kid's like, "Fuck this! I like metal." But he's also playing his PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
This is 19.
Yeah, those drums. They're scary.
It's 1996, but then on the walls everywhere are like more PlayStation games, but then like there's also the last.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute.
Like,
I just thought about that.
Wait a minute.
What game was he playing?
Oh no, he was playing. No, Spencer was playing. Once we fast forward, Spencer was playing Street Fighter, but yeah, no, the rights for Jumanji is owned by Sony. So the fact that Jumanji decides to turn into a video game, and it's a Nintendo cartridge type thing, and
actually, it looks more like an Atari cartridge.
You're absolutely right, but it's like, but it took that form instead of the most perfect fucking choice. Turn it into a PlayStation game.
I know. It just didn't turn into a DVD, CD, or DVD. This not just go straight up cartridge. Like, why?
The one time it's not Sony headphones, it's not a Sony phone, it's not a, like, they don't even have iPhones in there.
You know what it's gonna turn into next, right?
And then it's an Atari cartridge. Like, fuck off. Music is so essential.
But you know it's gonna
to the
turn
movie.
into next, right?
I'm glad it evoked feeling. Absolutely. Sean Joka says the drum intensity corresponds directly with how high you are. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yo, if I saw that high, I would. Oh my god. I would have been like more than just the chills. And then I would have been like, but everybody else heard that music. Isn't it interesting that they're both like they're all having the same experience all at once? Because what if it was mimes and other people just randomly around? Fuck, that would have fucked me up, Sean. But that's so interesting. I just want to talk about.
We've only gotten to the drums, folks. We haven't even gotten to like the rest of it. Okay, so.
But the drums, because to bring it back, this game.
How the heck that movie started like playing in the background? Sorry, I don't know if you guys heard all that. Like. Anyways.
But yeah, so this game of Jumanji, it transforms into something else. So instead of being a board game, it turns into a video game, which is interesting because it means that it itself took the role of something that this next generation of people are interested in. which if the first movie actually opens up with this like cutscene of like the 1860s, saying that this game is at least 200 years old so far. Um, I can't do math. 150, give or take. Anyways, so this game, this demon, this like
I know
other
exactly
world spirit thing that is
But the thing is,
specifically-
you
but
don't.
it's terrifying because it's specifically targeting people and is just like, yo, play for your lives. I'm gonna take your soul if you don't. Like, what the? Like, are you the devil? Will you give me a fiddle? Because holy fucking shit! Jumanji is terrifying now. And like, and if I was high,
Here's something I'm going to reveal to you at the end, though, about this, and it's going to probably blow your mind a little bit. But first, let's continue on.
Nice.
We're going to continue on to the rest of the plot, though. Okay, so basically, the game decides that, okay, it's got to evolve into something that will entice people to play it, or else it has no reason to exist.
Because it's a demon.
So what it does, it decides to go ahead and turn itself into a video game, and this, of course, leads up to this kid says, "Oh, cool! It's turned to a video game. Let me try it out now." And like all of a sudden, it gets sucked to the game, and fast forward and it's from 1996, and it's already 2017, and now we have kids that are like going through school doing like their normal stuff. We have the
Power Rangers.
Yeah, we have
Except the Asian. Yeah.
We have basically
Right?
the classic high schoolers. You got the
pretty
nerd,
girl.
the jock,
That's the blue. That's the Red Ranger.
the pretty girl,
That's the Pink
Pink
Ranger.
Ranger, and you have the
Green Ranger. No, green came after.
you have like the rebel girl.
Well, no, quirky and weird. So I guess if we were doing,
She's supposed to be the one that rebels and stuff like that. I think that was probably the nerdy rebel.
But was she really a rebel? I mean, she was just like, she's just like, yo, it's too much for me. I don't want to play dodgeball. I don't want to play catch with the football. Like, fuck off, bitch. Just. But yeah, okay. Rebel.
She was like, fuck you.
Oh, I'm a rebel.
She's like, I rebel against all this cliches and we must go to gym class and all that stuff. And I'm like, it's freaking gym class.
You're right. I guess you're right. I guess I thought she was just like super smart and she was being like so nerdy as like,
yeah. To the nerd, she was a
talking
rebel.
about like college and like, no, this isn't gonna help me get into an Ivy.
And of course, Nerd Boy finds this extremely hot.
Daria, of course. It's kind of like a Daria
wannabe. Daria. Yeah, she was like straight up Daria. Like, you could basically put all these people into 90s characters cliches.
But they were. This was a 90s movie.
That's the thing, though. But the characters were all supposed to be from our time.
Yeah, but it's also specifically made.
It just shows that,
us.
like 20 years later, still things haven't changed in high school.
No, it's literally saying 20 years later, the people who watched the first one 20 years ago want to see a movie from 20 years ago, but 20 years later because it's the same thing. Like, we want to have nostalgia.
It's made for us oldies. Okay.
On that nostalgic teeth. And it's giving it to us. It's saying, hey, here's Breakfast Club. Here's the here's the Power Rangers. Here's everybody who goes to detention. And then, wacky hijinks ensue. And
so basically, long story short, they all end up in detention because they all have their.
They have to.
Yeah, it's like somehow fate puts them all in the same detention area.
Like Final Destination.
Yeah.
Fate. Like death is.
Fate somehow intertwined. And, like, of course, their punishment is to go through old magazines and stuff and remove all the staples.
Did you ever do anything like that in high school?
I know, who does that?
Who doesn't just
make you sit in the class and, like, do some study work or something like that? Who does that? Puts you through, like... Sometimes they get creative. Yeah.
I guess. But that's also, like... So,
I got detention
one,
once,
labor.
and guess what I did in there, folks? I just sat there.
Jumanji isn't poop. All right, tell me what you thought. What'd you think?
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, so like they're okay.
and
So
so they're going through all this
channeling all
stuff
of
and
this.
everything. They find the Jumanji game, and like basic, of course, everyone is reluctant at first to play, but then they're like,
Yeah, because lame.
well, I'm like, well, they're like, it's better than doing this, so all right. And they all like choose their characters, and they're going off like their names and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, this guy's a doctor, I'll pick him. Oh, this guy's like a moose, I'll
No.
pick him.
He was a curvy genius. I'll pick him.
Yeah.
I think that's still just so funny.
She's like, oh,
Loved it.
curvy
Nice.
genius.
Me too, Hudson.
and he had a girly name, so she thought, oh, it's a girl. And then
Shelley
there's like,
instead of Sheldon.
yeah, Shelly. And like, and then of course the last one, Ruby Roundhouse. She's like, oh, this is the last one. All right, fine. I'll choose her.
She was a killer of men, and I feel
Killer.
like
I'm like, killer of men. I'm like, what? Why wouldn't you pick that one first?
because I'm assuming she's like a nerdy feminist. Like she's a rebel. I don't.
She's rebel. She's like, oh, killer of men. Excellent. I am a feminist.
I guess so. But she
I don't
was also,
know.
like one of the last picks. Like she was.
Yeah,
the last
she was the last
person.
pick. She was
So it
she,
really
it was the
didn't
only one
matter.
she could pick. So
They
there
didn't even
was
say killer of men. Like
Yeah.
they didn't even read her description.
yeah. They just like whatever. Killer of men. Let's go.
Heston says that the movie had a nice mix
Yeah.
of new and nostalgia. I agree with you. on
Yes,
that.
it had a definite good bit of nostalgia. So just like any other situation where all of a sudden you're sucked into a video game, you basically come out of nowhere and you realize that, oh snap, we're in a video game.
20 minutes of lead up and build up time, figuring it out.
Yeah, and so of course, and what's in the best possible ways of like establishing plot and direction and everything is A, the drums signal when you're in a new level.
That's fucked up.
B,
That's fucked up.
the map reveals itself, which is only Sheldon can read because he's the map person, he's a cartographer. And what's cool is that all of the characters have their own special abilities and everything plays out exactly as if you were sitting there playing a video game. Because basically, all the characters that they interact with they all have set dialogue that they cannot break from.
NPCs.
They're NPCs, and it is the funniest thing ever. The only character that seems to act freely and on their own is the main villain.
Which is still okay. We're gonna get to the villain later.
Yeah.
But it's still to go back and to like analyze the fucked upness of Jumanji itself. Like, Jumanji used to be just a world that was happening inside the game, but now the world became a game, so it's
No,
cool
no,
because
no.
they have NPCs. But then, like,
No,
that means that-
what you don't realize is that what's revealed later on, and this is a huge difference. Spoiler alert. Well, we already said it. Never mind. So what's revealed later on is that Alan Parrish, the Robin Williams character, was living there for 26 years.
But
And
he
it
was
has,
not
like-
living in the current Jumanji.
No,
The
he
current
was
Jumanji.
No, that
But-
is the
but
current Jumanji.
The current Jumanji is it transformed. It shaped itself into a video game. So now you have lives and you have levels and you have NPC characters because it changed to be that type of game.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
but that means that-
Robin Williams games means that board game was just its own world that was happening in and around everything. And it's like it's also because we get the semblance of that it was this open world thing that things just happened because the bad guy just does things, not being an NPC character. Like other events are happening live, even though you're playing around over here. So instead of just being like, oh, I'm only going to load up this section of the game and run this section of the game.
Yeah, but you do
like,
realize though that
events are happening, like it's an MMO kind of thing. But no, I don't think
no,
Robin
it's
Williams
the same.
was living in this specific
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
version of Jumanji or
No,
or
he
this,
wasn't. You're right. It changed.
what's it
You see,
called?
the environment and everything is still
Structure.
exactly the same. What's different
That-
is what happened to the people that were inside of it. Like
Yeah,
if
so
you
they got
like basically the
programmed.
mustached guy with like the rifle and
Oh,
everything from the first
Van
movie,
Pelt.
Van Pelt had changed into the new villain. If you had
That's
noticed, Van
insane.
Pelt was his last name.
That's insane. No, I will not combat tits. Come on. Keep up. Keep up. The worst of it was Alan was left alone with no help and he wasn't given purpose. He just survived.
Yeah,
Ooh, interesting.
that's
But
what
it's
was
also,
really bad.
it's creepy because so he was there for like 26 years or so, but then also Nick Jonas, which is like the other kid who originally got like sucked in, that's
But
the
here's my
character. But
but here's the
Alan
biggest
Parrish
thing.
was a kid when he came in, and he didn't turn into a video game character. He didn't come into Jumanji as The Rock or
I
with the
know. And
superpowers or
here's
skills.
the
He was
crazy
just a
part.
fucking kid.
But here's the crazier part. What was his motivation and purpose to survive? It had to
Keep
go
going.
purely off of like own
And
human
what if he
survival
died?
instinct.
What if he died in Jumanji and the demon took his soul? Would the game have ended? Or would it still have gone? And then the chick is now left, and then no more
And that's
Jumanji ever?
and that's the part that I'm gonna
Until
tell
she
you at
dies?
when we're close
Okay,
towards
wait.
the ending comments on all this, and you're gonna love that part. Okay,
Fuck. I love
so
the idea that Jumanji, like how you're saying, Diana, like it's learning because it's actually like a learning AI, and
yes.
it's a robot from like another
What
planet that
what if
came
like
in
it
and
was
is
like just a
Ooh.
sentient robot just came
Bring it,
down.
man. Bring it. Yes,
But
it's a sentient robot and program because it's trying to reprogram itself. And there's parts in the game where it doesn't really like keep to a certain structure. And I really wish they had like spoken to the idea or the possibility of self-learning AIs or something like that, that the program is learning that we already learned how to do teamwork, and so now it's challenging our team or something. Like if Spencer, who in the beginning was already like, oh yeah, I play video games, this is like all I do, these are lives and this is what we got to do and these are our skills, oh that's cool. And like if halfway through he could have been like, it's learning, like it would have fucked me up, but it would have had it would have made like the I guess like a plot hole kind of go away and being like, yeah, no, this
well,
game is
I'll fill that plot hole for you here towards the end. I know I'm holding something back, something really revealing. I know it's like because it clicked in my mind, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna love this." So, okay, so basically, further into the plot here,
Yes,
we're talking basically going through it all. The characters, they basically discover that they each have their own specific characteristics and abilities, and the object of the game is to basically get a crystal
Hearthstone.
to basically a stone to the top of this Jaguar Mountains, plug it in, and say the name, and boom, that's it. So
Simple enough though, right? Got to get the ring to Mordor.
yeah,
Got to get the MacGuffin to the
It's-
other like thing. Yeah, yeah.
and this is why I say that the plot to this this movie is extremely badass because of the fact that it basically broke it down to its purest and simple form of you have an objective, here's what you do. It explains it clearly enough for the audience to know exactly what is needed to be done, and you're at the point where if when they put it in there finally, everyone in the theater's going, say Jumanji, say Jumanji. And that right there is when you know you have captured your audience. When you have people in the aisles going, say Jumanji.
It's because like in the beginning they set it up so easily, and the original NPC character said it at least 4 times. It's
Yes.
like, and say its
Its
name.
name.
Finish the game and say its name. Finish the fucking game. And then like he's driving away. Oh yeah, and remember, finish the game. Say his name.
I
Okay.
know.
So it's like, so that was a good job of setting that up and then having it actually come off pretty well. So yeah, no, I agree. And that's the kind of reaction you get when it's a good movie and like decent writers are
I just
actually
realized this is the
making
reason
sure.
why we need a third. We need a tiebreaker. Like, say if you said the plot was like not so badass, or you said it was
Well,
bad.
no, it's not that it's no. I understand what you're saying. But no, I definitely think that this movie took a simple plot and they added great actors who actually took care of their characters. They had the dichotomies between their characters. Each character had kind of their own like story arc. It was the comedy. It was a family fun comedy type thing that they were going for. They made it very 90s and the nostalgia done. Like the plot is nothing. There's nothing different in this plot. Get to the objective and you win. Cool. But like everything else made this movie great. Like
And
yeah,
now I will blow your mind with the ending of the plot section here and why
and a
this
piece of the
plot is
puzzle,
so
yeah.
badass.
And the riddle.
Now, now that we've come to the end of the plot section, I'm already putting my vote in for badass because I just realized like Jumanji. This whole time,
Okay.
the reason why the characters actually get to the situations and processes that they end up getting to is not luck.
Right.
Jumanji actually puts them that way and manipulates them into thinking that all their choices are free will, when actually it's basically teaching them life lessons.
Okay. So you're saying that
Think about it.
So the difference between it being a soul-eating demon and it being Glenda the Good Witch is that the characters all evolved,
Yes.
including back in the day when Robin Williams, like now he's okay with his daddy issues. The kids are okay with not having parents, but then when they go back in time, then they have parents. So it's like kind of the point is moot. The popular girl is okay with,
but the
not being
lessons learned
Claire and
weren't
being-
actually for the children in that film. It was actually for Alan Parrish and his
yeah, and his
friend.
daddy issues.
Yeah. Alan Parrish and also the girl as well, I guess. So
Yeah.
mostly
No, you're
mostly for
absolutely
Alan
right.
Parrish, because I mean, 26 years in the jungle, man, he had some making up to do for like lying and almost ruining that guy's like entire
The
life.
mosquitoes. That's probably why he like got covered in hair. You know, it's insane because that means that meanwhile, like our Metallica kid came in looking like Nick Jonas and stayed Nick Jonas for like quote 2 months. Like, but it's actually 20 years. Just what?
So that makes me wonder how much time passed for him when time travels slow in that area.
Well, he actually aged. That's
Yeah.
the issue. So he felt the change. So it didn't feel like 2 months.
Well-
it felt like 26 years because Jumanji completely changed as well. So because
But I think
it turned into
there was a
an
reason
NPC
why
type
though,
thing.
and that is the reason why Jumanji actually allowed him to age and go into that particular process is
Because
because
the other
he
character-
needed to experience what was going on in the game around him or after things happened around him. So basically he needs to see what the consequences of his actions led up to. That's the reason why the game
Okay.
aged him. And then
So I see I understand that idea when it comes to your theory. But also, I think it's because the girl was also a player and outside of the game, she was aging. Meanwhile, it was only Nick Jonas in the video game and nobody else, so it didn't matter. So it made him feel like it was only 2 months, not 20 some years.
Yeah.
That's my thought on like there are
So
the
basically,
differences so far.
if like one of them decided not to play and go off somewhere, and like she decided to come back in, they would probably all be aged at that point or something.
Wait, say it again?
If like one of them decided to like go off somewhere and not play the game,
Yeah, but no, and then
but they're not a player though. That's the thing. They have to actually pick up the controller and choose.
And
So
that's the difference. That's why I'm thinking it's more of a demon, because in the original Jumanji, like it's because of his role. It's because of like him acting as a part of playing the game that he gets sucked into this world. And then like that means that Jumanji itself got more aggressive when it turned into a video game and was just like, nah, y'all coming with me. Like, holy shit! Like there's this.
Jumanji was originally a children's book. Yeah,
You didn't get in it. Fucked
but the thing is,
Picture book.
I know I kind of gotta read that Jumanji children's book one day. We're just gonna order online. We're gonna just like say, okay, everybody, it's time for us to read Jumanji.
1981. Whoa.
I'm just gonna open it up and we're just gonna look at it, like we're just gonna read, and like.
So 1981, 1995, then 2017. Oh no. 95 was the movie, then 96 to 99 was the cartoon, and then to 2017. And Zathura, the
18
sequel
years.
to Jumanji, was published in 2002 and was made a movie in 2005. Whoa.
Still 12 years.
Yeah. But I mean,
But still, like,
it's perfect for
22
nostalgia.
years since the
Nostalgia
movie.
happens in 20 and 30 years. So if you're a 90s kid, whoa, now's your time to like have nostalgia hit you. So that's pretty good marketing.
Oh
But,
yeah.
I mean,
I think this year is there's a lot of nostalgia in movies upcoming in this next year. A lot of it.
more.
Ready Player
Oh,
One. Oh,
the
that
guy also wrote the Polar Express. God damn, this guy, like, he's nailing it.
hmm
Talk about a career. What? What?
Oh yeah, there's been a
And
lot of that Dynamite, I know, but I'm saying like this year there's like a crap ton of it.
even more.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia this year. Okay, so back to our subject. So the plot.
Whoa! And the Little Mermaid? What? What was this? He was like the visual development dude of like the Little Mermaid. Why is so good?
I met the
Why is
author
so
of
good?
not the Little Mermaid. I don't know his last
1989.
unicorn. Never mind.
What? Did the Little Mermaid actually come out in '89?
Yeah.
I totally thought it was '90s. I mean, '89 counts.
Yeah.
November '89. It's fucking '90s. All right,
It's
go ahead.
90s. It's like just round up. It's like it's still in that box.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
so
hyped.
old.
Ready Player One though, nostalgia, and it's like okay, but it's also okay to talk about the CG in
You know what?
both Jumanji.
I'm gonna say this right now. If you're gonna ever read a book to a movie, read the book last. Cause no, if
so
you
you won't be disappointed.
yes, because every time someone says I've watched the movie and I read the book was so bad, or the book was awesome and the movie was so bad, I'm like,
Flip it, man.
yeah, just flip it. Just allow the book to enhance and enrich your experience on the movie that you just saw, instead of the other way around, where you
No.
see a movie that doesn't fulfill itself up to the book.
I don't know. I feel like you have to try to keep them as separate as possible. I think when it comes to
Yeah.
different
This-
mediums,
Here's what you do. Go
especially
watch the movie.
Hollywood,
Wait
just-
like, a year until after you've forgotten everything in that movie, and then read the book and be like, oh, this is
Okay.
neat.
Yeah, I
There you
agree
go.
with you on that one.
Bam.
Yeah.
There, I solved
absolutely.
all your problems with books versus movies, people. Man, we're just coming up with life stories and tons of good advice right here. Now let's get back to this plot about good life stories and tons of advice in here coming out of Jumanji, because Jumanji basically is a tool that basically sharpens and evolves people into like being better people. Because the thing,
Or it's a demon
here's
that
the thing,
tries to
we
set
don't know the guy that played Nick Jonas's character, what he was going to become, like who he was as a person. All we know is he was like probably some deadbeat kid that didn't want to get his life together, that was like staying at home all the time. And then all of a sudden, he gets sucked into a video game that teaches him a lesson about, hey, you gotta be responsible in life,
But he didn't
be
change.
self-reliant and take care of
No.
yourself.
All we knew was that he was a metalhead, and then when we see him in the future or present or whatever,
Yeah,
he's
but the
still
thing
wearing
is,
like a Metallica shirt. So he himself didn't change. He just had a life. So like him as a character, nothing. I guess maybe he learned appreciation. So maybe he
he learned to appreciate life.
But he did
Life.
say that he misses his family and he misses like what's happened and he felt bad for it. So I don't think he was a bad kid, or I don't think he needed
Yeah,
anything
but
to
that near
learn.
death, but the near death experience and everything like that. I mean, it changed him. He named his daughter
To
after her.
become a dad, but like a metalhead dad in the future or whatever.
What?
Like
People can
he
still love
wasn't.
Metallica and still have children.
But that's what I'm saying. He didn't go anywhere. So you had the pretty girl learn that it's not always about you.
Yeah, it's all about
You
vanity.
had the own up to your like own sexuality and be proud of yourself. You had the it's not all about sports, but then I'm also just Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart. So it was really difficult to like have an arc there.
No,
And then
Kevin Hart. No, the guy was played by Kevin Hart's character. Basically, he realized he was changing because he started quoting his professor. He's like, "This is only one life, and the only life you get." He's like, "Dang it! This place is changing me. We can get out of here."
because he's Kevin Hart, so it just like we had to like force that one in. But then also like the jock really didn't have that that large of an arc in general. Like he was a stoic jock, and then he turned into like the backpack kind of thing. So he had to play sidekick, and that was basically it. Like learn how to be a part of a team, but then he already kind of knew how to be a part of the team, but not really. But friendship, but then not really. And then it was just Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart when the other three were doing such a great job of being. I'm like a nerd stuck in Rock's body, haha. But I'm actually the Rock. What? You're fucking me up, bro. It just Kevin Hart. Like
But
it just.
I think,
he was weak. He was
but
weak.
but the thing is, I think that the game is actually a lot more benevolent than it is malevolent, because of the fact that by the end of the movie,
Because they send you back in time. I think
each
that's the only
each
positive
character
thing it does.
gets, and the thing is, the lesson that it's trying to teach isn't always that one or that all the players. It could just be one person apparently, because I would say the first Jumanji, the main character that they were actually it was trying to teach a lesson to was Alan Parrish, and I think that's one of the reasons why. The kids didn't retain their memories because it was pointless. Because
The kids retain their
because
memories.
no,
The
no,
kids knew. The kids in the first movie,
yeah,
they were born knowing everything that happened in Jumanji. They were raised up knowing they knew everything about that happened in Jumanji. They were waiting for and they were planning for the move when they moved back to the original town that all of this happened in, and then they were like there with like both like the chick and Robin Williams. They knew everything. Like as
no,
a
they
baby
didn't.
with no consciousness, they had these memories already.
No.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
it's fucked up. Why? Because it's a demon. Because it's a demon.
They didn't have any. They didn't have that at all.
Yes.
It's like, do I need to pull out this movie and put it in there and show you the scene where they were completely oblivious to who
Because
Robin Williams and other
remember
characters'
them
name.
knowing and like opening their arms and like hugging the people or whatever
Yeah.
they knew.
They had no
And
clue.
like in the book, they knew. Like
That's the reason why when their parents said, "Oh yeah, we're about to go on this like trip and everything in the mountains," they're like, "No." because
they remembered.
that was the game saving those children's parents' lives. See, because of that,
they knew.
that's the reason why I'm saying the
Because
game
they
has been.
had their memories.
They
But
didn't have.
it didn't make them better kids for like playing. It didn't make them better like growing up, which like they already had a bond. I guess it was
No.
like the kid got over his fear of being scared of like spiders or something, and the girl Kristen Dunst got over like not being in control of everything and letting other people help her. But then to go back to this, like the newest movie, metalhead to like no metalhead, like I just,
Yeah, me and Diana we're kind of on the opposite side of this one, because of the fact that like the kids didn't know who they were. They were completely innocent. The parents were about to go on a business trip, and they stopped them because that was the board game giving them that knowledge to keep those kids' parents from dying.
To what end?
So
end?
So they can have parents.
What?
It stopped them from
why-
dying.
What do you
It
get from
prevented a
this?
death.
What is the? Okay, but like what? What is the point of
What's the point?
Jumanji giving a shit about that? Like like them having
Because
parents isn't gonna
because
then make them better
because the
people?
game is not as malicious as you think.
So the game is here to
It was their
save all
reward
of
for
the
finishing the
Disney
game.
main
Correct.
characters
Diana
from
Moon
their
is right.
parents dying.
It was their
The
reward for
night
finishing
before
the
the parents
game. The
died.
game gave back the kids their parents.
That's fucked up and weird. Why? Why would it do that? I understand
Because it's
you as a
not a benevolent
but
game.
but that's not their character. So like it didn't change the kid. It changed the kids, and
No.
they learned how to get over fears and they learned how to work together.
Yeah, but the
But
thing is,
giving them
th-
parents, the fuck? Like it shouldn't
yeah, but
matter.
without their
It might make
parents,
you a better person
without but
because it's benevolent. It shouldn't have to give you parents to make you a better person. That's what I'm saying. Saying the that you need parents to have a better life is fucked up and is
I
not
know.
the point of the movie.
But it's also
The
a
movie
90s
is the
movie.
journey of these people who play the game.
You also
And
have to
so
remember.
the parents didn't play the game.
You
That was
also have to
just a
remember
added
the
thing.
lessons and evolution that takes place with the game. Notice how
Okay.
in this version in Welcome to the Jungle, instead of taking their memories away, it leaves the
They gave
memories.
their memories back.
Yes.
They gave their memories back. Everybody had their memories.
Yes.
Kids
All
knew,
of them remembered
and they knew it in
this
the
time
first
around
one.
because
No, everyone
remember the
knew.
reason why it gave them their memories back in this one is because not only did the game change in the fact of its world, but it also changed the way that it affects the world outside of it as well. In other words, instead of that focusing on that one person, it decided to focus on several people all at once.
But it was
The
always
game evolved and
focusing on
changed itself.
everyone. It focused on the kids in the first movie. It focused on the kids and it focused on the girl. They changed up the lives. Like
Yeah.
granted
It
there
changed
was
all
a
of their
father figure,
lives.
Van Pelt, who like was trying to chase Alan, and it made sense because daddy issues, and so the game created the dad to like go fuck him up. But it all impacted the main characters. So what are you saying? You're saying that it didn't have the same
Oh.
impact to the first movie as it did in the other, but they all had their memories. They all had
Just to let you
everything.
know,
It's the
Diana
same
just
thing.
posted the ending of the first movie for you in the chat, in case you were wondering about
I would
the.
love to know, please.
So in case you're wondering, there's your proof that the kids had no clue what was going on, because the fact that the board game basically chose to basically put its cards into giving the kids their parents back as a reward for winning the game, because it saw how much it was
But
tearing
the
them up
reward should
inside.
be your
Like
personal
basically,
growth.
the
According
the
to
girl
you,
became
if
stoic,
they're
the little boy
benevolent,
became
it
like
should be your personal
fearful.
growth.
I know.
Instead of, hey, parents, yay, like, hope you enjoy this.
But-
What?
We don't know how Jumanji makes its decisions or works. We just know what it's doing, and what it's doing is from what I can see, is it gave those two kids their parents back. It gave Alan Parrish and his wife, an established relationship, and it also helped Alan Parrish, not ruin the life of someone that could have gone on to be a great shoemaker. Taught him life lessons and all that kind of stuff, and
Right,
appreciate
Alan Greer.
what he had around him.
Okay.
It was basically it's a
So-
wonderful life
so
for
the
Alan
game-
Parrish.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what we're saying then. We're saying that Jumanji creates an alternate universe where they play the game, and when they finish playing the game, they go back to real life, and then they all grew up, and they're
How
all
do you
super
know
appreciative,
that
and
basically
they got they're better people now. And for these kids to be better people, they get their parents back. Like,
also
that's
here's one other
the point
thing.
that I don't like.
You
that
also have to
it's- that they need
realize
parents.
that the board game, by going on for so long into the future, it actually ended up changing the lives of everyone around Alan Parrish, including the lives of those two children. And that's the reason why it
Right,
had to
'cause
reset
it's,
everything for them
'cause it's
and save their
Incredible Life or
parents,
whatever the
is
fuck.
because the board game realized that, without him being around to like stop his parents from going out of town, I just killed off these kids' parents. So
But no,
let's get it.
the
Let's
game doesn't realize that. The game,
the game
as soon
the
as,
game can
no, as
control
soon as you start
more
playing,
than you think.
it's an alternate reality.
It
So
controls
now that
fate.
it's an alternate reality, then all of these other things happen, and the game doesn't have to fix shit
The
because
game
that's
controls
what's,
time. It sends people back in time.
which creates a different reality. So once you start playing the game, you're in a different plane, you're in a different resonance, a different frequency, a different whatever the fuck you want to decide.
The question
but
is,
now you're
are
on
they
Jumanji
actually still
time.
in the game?
Right. Okay. It's not an alternate
I know.
reality. It's a different time thing.
We're
but
not going to
it's
go
all
into
the
that.
same fucking
If we
thing.
go
We're
into
saying
like
the
the
same thing.
possibilities of that would be insane.
No, we're saying the same thing. So like, yeah, it's dependent on whatever like time travel type of theory that you believe in. And so in this case, Jumanji says, "Yo, you about to play the game?" They roll the die. Boom. Now you got two like realities going on. This one's on pause until you finish all of this and all the things that could have happened in the next 30 years or whatever the fuck. And then once that ends, you come back. And when you come back, you're a changed, better person and everything's fine. And now you have knowledge of what could have happened in this alternate reality, in this other universe, in this other time span, in this other whatever like your cup of tea with time travel is. And then you come back and then it's a wonderful life. And you're just like, oh, I'm gonna fight for like all the poor people. I'm gonna love, oh my god, is that a bell? Angels get their wings. And that's cool.
So here's my
cool.
thing.
Like,
Sarah Whittle is Bonnie Hunt's
Okay.
character in the first movie.
Okay,
So
is that the girl?
here's yes, that's
Okay.
the one that like basically ran out of the house. There was like bats chasing her down the street, and she became a psychic and all that kind of stuff. So Sarah Whittle, her character retained knowledge of basically the last 20 or 30 years worth of like everything.
Of alternate.
Yes,
Right.
that means that she is basically a Gray Sports almanac.
Yes, if that timeline kept true, and then everybody has their memories, everybody keeps their memories.
My question is, why aren't they like ruling the world and richer by the time that like
she
they
has double memory because that's the idea of like they are literally old souls. So like Robin Williams has 20 years of like surviving in the jungle, and like she has 20 years of like surviving in this like world in this alternate universe kind of shit that like
they should have been way more richer. Well, then again, they were comfortable. I mean, they were living in a big ass house, mansion, and stuff. They had like a kid on the way. I mean, they were good. They were set. Plus, there's only one other person that's going to understand. I mean, she had no other choice but to be with Alan Parrish because no one would ever understand like why she was the way she was, how she was a psychic. She could have been a psychic.
No, it wouldn't
she could have been a legit psychic at that point.
But it wouldn't matter because she could go off and live her life and never be crazy. Because what? No, she would never be a psychic in this current in like the
she wouldn't be able to
timeline.
Yeah, but she could probably predict technology and all that kind of stuff. I mean, she could buy some stock, buy some freaking stock in certain things. Yes, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Like, go back like 20 years from now, or 10 years now, buy some Bitcoin, everybody. Bam.
So that means
like, there you go.
So
we'll like go back 10 years, we'll buy some Bitcoin, and we'll come back and we're like just like, tossing money everywhere. Like, yeah, we're just big balling, y'all.
Then Jumanji is benevolent because it lets you retain the memories and then get rich. But then that brings up the question of, are the main innovators of like our known time technologically, are they Jumanji people? So like in the first movie in 1860 or whatever the fuck, like we see somebody trying to bury Jumanji. Did those people who went through the game and played everything, did those people become the Rockefellers and Andrew Carnegie? And they were just like, people gonna use railroads. Fuck yes. And then they came back and like,
is there more than one copy of Jumanji? Ooh, that is a good question. Because with Zathura being out there, that makes you think like,
I think it is because there's a bunch of demons.
I think these are like multiple entities that are out there, to teach those life lessons. I haven't seen Zathura yet, unfortunately.
They're all demons.
I feel like
They're all here.
we should have actually seen that one too to like go along with this.
I've
But
never
okay,
seen
so
Zathura whatsoever.
plot. Uh, so
So yeah, shit happens. They end up getting the stone. They put it back. Boom, done. There's a bunch of like puzzles and
but
trials.
then there's like this
and then,
touching
like,
scene where like you know
stuff.
they like you know see like you know
I agree. A Zathura watch would be awesome. Do a little rabbit. Could do that.
yeah.
Okay,
Do a
okay,
Zathura
hold on.
watch.
I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this like clip.
Oh, okay. So while she's watching the clip, let's go ahead and wrap up this plot section right here. But what would you say? What's your vote on the plot? Good, bad, or badass?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you.
Well, I was gonna watch the clip.
Yeah,
Like-
but that clip's from like the first movie. I'm talking about the second.
I know, but like, do you want me to watch something or talk? Like, I can do many things, but one at one
Okay,
time.
okay.
Like
Okay.
that is.
Well, I'll let you
do
watch the
you want
clip.
me to focus on something, or do you
I'll
want me
let
to
you watch
have
the clip.
things? Like,
I'll let you watch the clip, and I'll like you know ask these people what do you guys think for the plot.
Sounds good.
I honestly think that the plot was badass because I liked how the movie progressed from beginning to end. It kept you like
Oh no! True. Thank you for that host.
it kept you like you know going all the way through the film. It kept you entertained. It kept you like you know intrigued in what was going on, and it also had you wondering like you know how things were going to end. It's like is that person gonna go back to his time? Are they going to end up like you know all together at once?
What are you doing?
I mean, it was really interesting to see what happened there. To have these four people come back, and the fifth person has lived pretty much his entire life for the last like you know decade and a half. Holy crap! No, actually that was like 96. That's 2 decades and a year. Holy crap! He lived 21 years. Damn, I'm old. He lived 21 years, guys. And to finally see them.
Chills, Robin Williams. Get chills.
But the part that I don't get though is that if he lived 21 years and they all lived around that same area and that same block, as he walked through school and everything with them every day, does that mean that like he knew like, oh man, when they hit high school, they're gonna like, you know, they're gonna know who I really am. That's the crazy part. Yes, they were definitely fleshed out. So we got a couple of votes here for badass. Oh yeah, that's right. He did move away. He did move away. So I'm gonna say we got two votes for badass. What? Twy, did you finish watching your clip? Not yet. She's like, I'm in it. I'm in. Doesn't she look extremely determined, y'all? Like she is like really soaking up that scene. Like. Yeah, I think moving away was probably best. Yeah, he moved away. He was coming back to visit his dad. So yeah, I think him moving away is probably the best thing. So that way he didn't interfere with any of their lives. So that's probably what he definitely did right there, to not interact with those other characters and not interfere with their timelines. So that was actually the smartest thing he could have done. Stay away from them as much as you possibly can. So that way when you come back, you realize, oh, that's who these guys are. Visit them on that day. Like, I'll come back 21 years from now, Dad. I'll see you later.
Okay.
I'm gone. Okay. So, you get it? You there? She's probably...
Does that mean that Jumanji is a Christmas movie? Throwing that out there.
Is it a Christmas movie? It happens on Christmas, right?
They do indeed, don't they?
Hmm. Can you hear me?
And then, like, French.
Do I? Can you hear me?
Those drums! Ah, those fucking drums! Edit. Too much. It's too much.
Twi, can you hear me?
All right. No, you're absolutely right. The kids seem to not know,
Yes.
but there's got to be somewhere. I'm not sure why. Then my roommate made it seem like the kids did know. There must have been something else that he saw or watched, or I don't know.
So
But,
what's your
okay.
vote on the plot there?
Because she's pregnant, she has bigger boobies, bigger plot. I agree. Also, hey, Neverland Dreams. And Drew, what were you streaming? Thank you for the raid, man. Big love. Also, guys, we are over here.
Absolutely badass.
Tales,
Definitely
just
catch
sports
all of
show. Thank you for that lovely follow, my friend. Welcome to the Absolute Badasses. Twi, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, for a second there, I thought you.
Yeah. What'd you think of the plot? I thought her boobies were right. Like that kind of plot, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Which one? Good, bad, or badass? What would you say? With the flow.
The plot has nothing specifically different about it versus other movies like, oh, we got sucked into this world, we got sucked into this game, we got sucked into... So, like, all right, it was straightforward. But there was very few plot holes in general. One of them being the missing piece, and then they just ever so happened to, like, fall into Nick Jonas's arms and then be like, oh, you're the missing piece. Which would have been awesome if the Rock character, Spencer, could have been like, oh, it's machine learning, or the game is like is acting like it's an open world suddenly and is figuring it out. Like that would have been great and would have easily filled up that like little section right there. Other than that, I can't really think of anything that plot wise jumped out at me and was just like, what we're doing, that makes no fucking sense, this is stupid, like whatever. So yeah, so far so good and nice. Overwatch.
So I'm guessing that's a good rating? Bad.
No, absolutely.
Or badass.
In terms of like plot itself, it wasn't shit. Therefore, 7, I guess. Like it didn't make me like.
There's 3 choices. There's three glasses in a vase. You pick one vase.
Well, I don't know how we're dividing the 10.
3 flowers in a vase.
3.3? 3.3.
The first flower is green.
But like 6.666.
Darn. I thought it would have been one of her trigger words. Okay.
Gotcha. Right now. That's too
You guys realized you actually look a lot like that character from that show.
In what? I don't know the show.
I know.
I know. Oh no.
The name of the show is Dollhouse. Look it up.
Oh, nice. That's Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon? I always say Josh. I can't.
I know.
Not say that.
Joss. That one part with the snake, was that badass or what?
In the new Jumanjis?
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I liked how the CGI was like not good. Like,
Yeah. See, Diana can see it. She's like, hells yeah. Like, all of a sudden I give her the code word, and like Twi just like goes off and just starts like kicking some butt. I could see that. Like, we are totally going to do that one day. Where I'm was trying right now. Next con that we go to together, Twi, seriously, heads up, we need to actually do some film where I am not basically Noob Saibot in the background of your damn video.
Did you take videos? You didn't publish it. You didn't put any videos in Google.
I know.
Drive.
I honestly just
nothing.
didn't have the time.
I had nothing to work with. Like,
I know. But next time,
understand.
ask me. Hey, bad boy.
We did. It was in the group like chat. It was like, all right. Like, here's the link. Here's the link again. Let me tag you and Sim. Here's the link again. And then both of you and Sim, didn't put anything in. So we're like,
you
all
realize
right,
I don't have my notifications turned off for Discord in my thing because I am like in 50 bajillion different like Discord channels. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why it was a chat instead. So you would get those, and it wasn't in a Discord specific.
I know.
Like, it happened.
But it didn't trigger. I know. Oh. No, we're not doing that, Cap. No.
And
We're staying on topic now.
Tried.
I'm going to give your plot a good, because since you can't seem to like go straight to badass, if you have to think about it that much. All right, so let's go ahead and list the characters down, starting from the top. We're just gonna go straight
for the best. Jack Black.
Yes.
Just great performance, hands down. You made me think you were a 17-year-old girl.
Yes.
So many times. He and without being a caricature, without being just what was that movie, Hot Chick, with Rob Schneider, just being like, oh, boobs, and then there was like this awkward like peeing scene, but it made sense for the character to be like, I really wish I was Instagramming this. There's just that was well done.
We're in the
11 out of 10
the characters now.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Here you go. Relax. We're on part 2. Okay.
So much better.
Okay, so Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I just love the idea that like both of them are paying like it's a normal thing, and it just.
And of course, we're just going with The Rock. We're gonna have to go with
The Rock was good.
I gotta give good like the fact that like he basically like did that smoldering intensity thing
multiple times. Yeah.
Does that happen naturally?
Yeah.
It just happens naturally. It's like
and there were awkward moments where it's like, oh man, that girl's like really into like Jack Black is into that guy. What the fuck is happening? I would have died if I was high. Like, my mind would explode.
Smoldering intensity.
So good.
We're just gonna keep doing that the rest of the night. Like, Twy, you need to try it. Try it out.
It is not my thing.
Come
no,
on.
I will be Jack Black figure.
No, it's like for me, I just can't help but like turn my voice and like smoldering intensity.
How are you doing that? It's just this. How did you try? Can you do it on command? And you're right. You're absolutely right. Kevin Hart last. And I would even say in comparison to like the kid actors, but the kid actors only had like their own parts, so like it's all right. But of the 4 main, Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart. They were all given roles to take their normal shticks and turn them upside down, and Kevin Hart was. I'm short.
Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart, basically playing himself.
Like
there was no change up in that character.
There really wasn't, and because the
hardest working man in like freaking show business right now was acting like the hardest working man in show business. That guy, he's in everything.
Really?
Yes.
You liked the fridge more than you liked real Kevin Hart, or like.
Now I will.
Young Kevin Hart versus Kevin Hart, like adult Kevin Hart.
Either way, I mean, it's like
and normally they all do play the same characters. That's the issue, and that's why this movie did such a great job for those 4 actors to be like.
I'm gonna give him a good, but I won't say that he's badass in that role. I would say he played it well.
Good. I don't think he's good. I don't think.
You think he's bad? You're giving it a bad?
He's not good. He's not bad. He's just Kevin Hart. He's just there. He is character acting.
I'm telling
when
you.
This role was specifically written for a character actor to not be himself or themselves. Jack Black was not Tenacious D. Like Karen Gillian or whatever was not the hot girl. She wasn't playing that. She played awkward, and she played attempting, and she played learning really well from like Jack Black. She played it well. The Rock is a buff dude who's an action hero, so to play the nerd trying to figure it out and like have fun was so good. And then there was Kevin Hart, the character actor, the stand-up comedian guy
He
who
he
couldn't.
did he definitely did better in Central Intelligence. I definitely liked that movie a lot more.
But he right, and
Where his
because
his role in that
Kevin
movie a lot more.
Hartness was toned down like by 40% kind of thing. That awkward kiss was. Who would you have picked for that role then, Twi? No, I think Kevin Hart
No,
was a great choice.
Kevin Hart
but his
played that role
performance
just fine.
Was not.
It's just, basically the execution for it wasn't really like, it was a walk in the park for him because of the fact that, he does comedy, he's good at it. There was no real change up needed in character for him.
It worked.
It worked exactly the way it was supposed to. I would say I'm going to say it was good because of that. Is the fact that he complimented and like basically boosted each other's characters really well, and he still had like those memorable lines and everything like that. They were just Kevin Hartish, like, you don't go in water with a backpack.
I'm not hating. What I'm saying is he didn't do as on par as the others. Like if it's a ranking between the four, he is absolutely last in those four because the whole point was to turn your normal character over, and he did it. He was Kevin Hart. I'm short and I'm angry. Oh yeah, and I'm black. And they even did the joke of like, whoop, thank God I'm black. And it's like, oh, because is that the only thing you have in common with your... Okay, let me put it this way.
And the weakness. The weakness was awesome.
So that was cute. In the beginning,
he's like,
you had four characters. You had the pretty girl, you had Fridge, you had Spencer, and you had like awkward chick. And these like four characters, you could see them in their adult like video game bodies. But then you couldn't see Fridge in Kevin Hart. You only saw Kevin Hart. Like we saw the 17-year-old girl in Jack Black and how that changed him. We saw the nerd in The Rock and how like he was having fun as being like, whoa. And like, oh yeah, guys, we gotta, whoa, shit, that's real.
Yeah, but you gotta realize though. I mean, like the thing is,
Kevin Hart he wasn't Fridge.
Him complaining though that he couldn't do the things that he wanted to do. He was very athletic.
But that wasn't
He's an
Fridge.
athlete.
Fridge, we didn't see him like that. Fridge came up, yo, you got my homework? No, man. But like he didn't play the not. No, he went immediately. Man, I don't want to blah blah blah. Oh man, this is pretty bullshit. Oh man, oh, do you see this? You see this? Like everything that he was doing, the mannerisms and stuff were not Fridge. He needed to have been like, man, this is fucked up. Like, where's the other half of my body? Man, this is like I'm gonna miss practice and coach is gonna be pissed. And like even his lines was all different. And so because he was Kevin Hart playing Kevin Hart, like why didn't they write it better, or why didn't they like say like, yo, check out this couple of like scenes and shit that we caught of these other fuckers right next to you.
I have to agree. Basically, he was a token black guy. There you go.
I don't think so.
He was.
I definitely
no. Fridge was a token black guy.
No, yeah, I definitely agree that Fridge's character had very little to work with. He was the jock, and I wouldn't
like, what are you gonna do with the token black guy jock? How are you gonna fully flesh out that character and put him into an actor like Kevin Hart?
Had a purpose in his character though. There was he could have been Asian, he could have been white, he could have been any other type, anything else, because like him being black didn't really impact him so whatsoever. That would have been amazing. That would have been if he was the black jock and he's just trying to make it in with the people because people don't really in this town like accept like our kind or something, and then like his character arc is learning that nah man, it's just you, like we're friends, we're cool, like you didn't, like you're not changing just because you're still you, like no matter who you are kind of thing. That would have been way different. In this case, Fridge was just football player. Yo, this shit is hard. Do my homework. Yeah, man, you're kind of weird. I don't want to be your friend. Man, you're just lucky that I kind of keep you around sometimes. Like, and that was it. That he was a jock. The fact that he was black didn't matter in this case. Like, he was not a black character. He was cast in the role as
that's
like,
the thing. I don't know about being the bully football character, because the part where he pushes him off the cliff.
Yeah, those are two like friends fighting. That's not him being an asshole football player. So like he didn't change from being an asshole football player to being a nice guy. He changed from forgetting about his friend, or his childhood friend, to like accepting his childhood friend as a friend again. So like he learned friendship. So like the point about him being black didn't really have any like
Impact.
presence in, or
Yeah.
like it wasn't a plot thing. Like they didn't write a black character. They made him black because Kevin Hart is black, and if you take a black guy and then you change his colors, then like all hell's gonna break loose and nobody's gonna like watch your movie, and because that's just it's real fucking dicey. Like in that whole thing.
Well, basically, they didn't want to. What's that? They didn't want to Tropic Thunder it up.
Right, but
They didn't want. They didn't want
yeah.
all of a sudden, like, you know, basically, they didn't want to have like. Because think of it like this: what if
But
he
Tropic
went?
Thunder did a good job of that, because Tropic Thunder was a satire.
I
Like,
know,
it wasn't
but the
actual
thing is,
blackface or
what
anything.
what if they ended up putting the black guy into like, you know, the white dude into a white dude, or
Then it would have been about race, and then
yeah,
you could have had the whole like accepting things, and some of the NPC characters could have treated him differently because of the skin, and somebody else turns a different shade of brown. So like one of the girls turns Egyptian or something like that, like a different like golden
I
brown,
know.
and there's something like, oh no, her kind are the workers, and then you sir, you come on in, we're only going to talk like that. Would have been
Because I thought
fascinating.
Tropic Thunder was one of like the best movies ever made. Because like it was so hilarious.
It was.
It was just like so funny.
But first of all,
It's like I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude. Sky's another
liberals would
dude.
have. Okay, first of all, liberals would have burned down America. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, absolutely at this point, because you would be like whitewashing or blackface. But the reason why Tropic Thunder did so well, and why Robert Downing Jr. It's not, yes, it's blackface, but it wasn't seen as blackface, was because it was Hollywood satire on Hollywood. So Hollywood people were just like, whoa, do you see he's doing that? Oh, he's making fun of us. Oh, that's funny. And so he got awards and applause for it. Meanwhile, the other discussion that we normally talk
Yeah.
about is the K Pike here on Twitch. She does body paint, and that's her stream every Saturday. And she has done every Justice League character so far, and she has painted her body so she looks like Batman, she looks like Wonder Woman, she looks like the Flash, and then she's like, so do we do Cyborg? Like, well, Cyborg is not like the Green Lantern is multiple people take the role of Green Lantern, but Cyborg is Cyborg. Like, he is a black
Cyborg
kid,
is black.
and his father is a black scientist too, and it's important
Booyah.
that he's black because that's his exactly, because that's his specific character. Like,
Okay.
that is who he
Hold
is.
on.
So
Hold on.
can
I just
she
have
paint
to ask
her
everybody.
body black?
I'm just gonna ask this tangent question just for 1 second. Who thought that Booyah was like forced as hell?
And I agree, Diana. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But it wasn't just comedy; it was also satire. And
Yeah, people
and
do
laughing
need a
at
thicker skin.
Hollywood.
It's like it's 2018, people. We're supposed to have flying cars and shit by now.
Twitch streamer is K Pike.
Yeah.
Kaypik, I think, is
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah.
But
She
yeah,
does some awesome
Hollywood
body paint.
satire, all coming back together and everything. No, absolutely. And so like, to go back to Jumanji, Fridge was just a bad, empty character,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure why.
And
he
Kevin
didn't
Hart
get
had to
as
fill
much.
that up with like, what is he gonna do with this? I mean, he's like,
But his
Alright.
choice was, I guess I'll be Kevin Hart, and suddenly this
I know,
stoic football player turns into loud and complaining and bitching the entire time in Kevin Hart's lovable
well,
way.
I
but
kind of understand
that's
though.
what it
If you're like 6'4" and all of a sudden you go down to like 5 foot.
But he would have complained in a different way. Jack Black wouldn't have complained in a Tenacious D way. He would not have complained in a Nacho Libre way. Like, he would have complained like a 17-year-old girl would have complained. But Kevin Hart didn't do that. He was not Fridge.
I know
was
he
Kevin Hart.
he wasn't
was
walking with like confidence and stuff like that like he
Anything
would
that
have.
he did.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was
There was only
Kevin Hart.
only one scene where he kind of showed that like, you know, machoism and confidence, and that was the scene where he pushed him off the cliff and everything like
Yes,
that. That was the
because
only
he was
time he ever
Fridge.
showed that
Yes.
that he played as Fridge.
And when he
The rest of the
started
movie,
to,
he was
push him
Kevin
and
Hart.
fight. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
And
only
that's
time.
the issue.
So, I give him a good. He at least played a decent role. You probably would probably give it a bad.
It's not bad. It's just
Not good.
nothing. It's nothing. It's just.
I'm gonna give it a
It's
bad
not
on your
good.
side anyways.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
If-
just. It's,
if you're not first, you're last.
all right, Ricky Bobby. That sounds good then. Then it's bad, and especially
Okay.
in comparison to the other
All right.
3 main characters.
Let's go to Ruby Roundhouse, my favorite character because she's the
Because she
killer
does.
of men. Also, it's Amy fucking Pod.
She doesn't even kill anybody. I thought when she was gonna kiss The Rock, I thought he was gonna die because her kisses killed people, like killed men. I was like, ah, shit. And
Kisses
then,
are
like,
deadly.
that's-
What?
No.
I didn't see that in her character roster.
She was the killer of
I
men.
I saw.
And the entire
Yeah.
time, she didn't kill any men. She was a fighter of men, but she didn't kill anyone. So if
I don't
she
know.
had,
I think
like,
she killed a
kissed The
few.
Rock, and
Like
then
at that
he
last
died.
part, where she was like, you know.
We weren't there yet. They had their kiss before. So she didn't actually kill anyone. She was a great fighter against them, but like win Heston before the kiss, win, because The Rock like twisted the head once, but she didn't actually like kill anybody until after the kiss, which I just thought would be really cool if his last life was, oh shit, my bad. And that would have been a great, like, killer of men. Gotcha. Like, yeah, no, this just, they just kind of left it there.
But dance fighting though, man, I was hoping it was gonna be
Dance fighting
break
was
dance
funny.
fighting. Man,
Cringy as fuck.
I was like, oh, it's not break dance fighting though. But that song though got stuck in my head for days.
The song was good. The
Yes.
song was good.
That song gets stuck in your head for days. I have to say her character though was pretty badass, and it also made me think, man, why couldn't they cast her as Tomb Raider?
Interesting.
I'm like, holy crap, she would totally fit.
I don't think she's as like young or muscular. I don't think she's as young. I think she's
What?
like 30 something. And like the Tomb
Neither
Raider now,
Laura
that
Croft
they're, like,
isn't that young either.
the one they're booting
Well,
now.
the
is,
one they're
like,
booting now,
17.
but I'm talking about like the video game character. She's like got some age behind her.
When are they ever
I
gonna?
would say
yeah,
she's like
she
late
was
late
later
20s,
material.
early 30s.
Yeah, but that's not. But we're not in that mode right now. Maybe in a decade we'll get there, and then she'll be.
What?
But like
Decade?
because right now Tomb Raider.
Because how old was
is-
Angelina Jolie when they brought out
Teenager.
the first Tomb Raider? She was like what, 30 something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But right then, like what, 20 years ago, Tomb Raider was all about this chick in her mid-30s, and then now Tomb Raider is getting rebooted and all the new games and all the new things, and she's a young kid. So yeah, you're right. She does play young actors and like young characters and stuff, like her herself in the selfie thing, but she's still believably not 17. She's believably 25. Like she is a New York 25 who's actually 32, but 25. So it's like, and don't get me wrong, I agree. Like she could have the potential to do that, to play more of an action role, but like Tomb Raider right now is not doing that. So like if we can find her something else like to be or play, okay. But like that's not, if we have to be realistic.
I know.
Like she can play like a YouTube short or something, like a. she
I
can
would
make,
say
like, a little
just
thing.
give her some guns and like, you know, have her go do like a
Absolutely.
cool action flick. I don't
But I don't
care.
think she needs to be Tomb Raider. She can do her own thing, be her own superhero. Like, and we've seen her running around on Doctor Who. We've seen her like play
Ooh, the new
her
Catwoman.
English
That would be
accent.
cool.
Okay, new Catwoman. All right,
I'll go with
things
that.
like that. Give her an action role, but it doesn't have to be like the only video game female character we can think of. Like, who's another like video game female character like other
Bayonetta.
than Tomb Raider kind of thing?
Bayonetta. That's one.
I don't even
Samus.
know. She got
Aaron.
Black Cat from Spider-Man.
You don't know
but
who
she would be
you don't know who
25.
Bayonetta is?
This is now like
Wait, hold on, wait.
Spider-Man
You don't know who
right
Bayonetta
now
is?
being rebooted in high
Wait,
school. She can't
you don't
be
know
in
who
high school.
Bayonetta is? What?
No, I don't. Oh my god. Ellie, The Last of Us, but isn't she also supposed to be like 17? I don't think she can realistically play a 17-year-old. I think she plays womanhood, not girl, like the transition into womanhood anymore. Like she is good. Do not get me wrong. What I'm saying is I think her age range is perfect for like 25, not 17. I think she's low 20s in the second one. Yeah. Low 20s makes sense because she's already womanhood versus like a budding girl, like that kind of. Okay, the girl in Uncharted. There you go. Like, isn't she pretty young
Welcome back,
too?
Diana.
But in a movie remake.
I just learned that Twy doesn't know who Bayonetta is, and that's just sad.
Oh my god, we're still on this.
Yep.
Hey, Ashton.
Okay, what are we talking about now? We're still on the characters. We're on Karen Gillian's character, Ruby Roundhouse. Honestly, I thought her character was pretty good. She was smart. She was funny. She basically had like all the action stuff down packed. Let's see, what was the other part? I know,
Her
don't know.
excitement made sense. Her like, oh shit, like I trusted you, like that was cool. Her development and love story with The Rock made perfect sense. I think that was well acted. And the character themselves of being like, oh, you're an awkward kid, I'm an awkward kid, no kiss. And then like them like lovingly playing it off of like, that's kind of my first one. Oh my god, me too. Like awesome. That was really cool. Still said Selfie got canceled. Me too. She was so good at Selfie, and it was
What is
all
Selfie?
Selfie was a NBC show. I think it was NBC. Where it was Sulu from the new Star Trek guys. No, wait. Fuck. What's his name? White Castle. Yeah, those guys. It was him, and it was. Fuck. What am I thinking of?
So
musical.
y'all want us?
Hold on.
Oh.
Musical. Audrey Hepburn. Henry Eggins. What am I thinking of? My Fair Lady. So it was My Fair Lady turned into a New York magazine thing, and she's the new like office worker kind of person. She writes stories, but she selfies and Instagrams and just like, oh my god, again. And then here's like Sulu being like, the fuck are you doing? And just be like, we're gonna fall in love, Henry Eggins. Like this is gonna fucking work. And yeah, with stuffy John Cho, there you go, who can't connect with people, and she's like nothing. And they only made like 8 or 9 episodes, and just it was fun, it was light, and there was really nothing much to it because it was like, all right, they're gonna get together. It was too predictable, and so they canceled the show. But it was a perfect role for her, from coming from Doctor Who level of like in-depth use your brain. Now it was like now it was all like, oh, look at my body. And so it made sense. She needed that TV show to get her into this movie as a sex symbol on purpose, because like, and there was a bunch of like people being like, why does she have to?
Oh yeah, I forgot she's in
wearing?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
But like, she had to wear that because that's how video games. It was all.
Yeah, I keep forgetting
Oh,
she's what's her name's sister.
That's insane. I like never realize it's her.
I know, it's like you think
Like,
about it for a second,
ever.
you're like, oh yeah, that's her.
I had no idea it was her for like the longest time. It was really good.
It's like I mean I was like, oh yeah, like where
She's
have
a
I seen?
big star. Like she has so much potential. It's like,
The locally badasses.
Thank
Oh,
you,
nice.
the woman in Spectre. Thank you for that lovely follow, my friend. Welcome to the Absolute Badasses.
Good question.
Okay, so I already put her down as badass for me Roundhouse. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Badass.
Absolutely a badass. Yeah, she did a great job as a character. She grew as an actress. I thought she was awkward as fuck.
Nick Jonas, the pilot guy, who actually didn't know that was Nick Jonas until someone said it in this chat. And you said it. Cause I never watched the Jonas Brothers. I don't like whatever listen to their music. I don't follow them. I don't know who the hell they are. They're not my brand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was definitely.
So I didn't know that was Nick Jonas. I was like, oh, cool, that was Nick Jonas, pilot dude.
Cool.
I'm like, oh, okay. Oh God, thank God I'm not the only person. Whew.
Check that out, Bevan.
It's
See
like,
about the rankings.
So Nick Jonas, I thought he played his character fairly well. I mean, apparently coming from the fact that I did not know that he was a Jonas brother or whatever, and just was I thought he was just regular actor they just threw in there. I thought he did pretty good. I wouldn't say his role was exactly very impacting. I mean, he wasn't really that in there very long. If anything, the guy that played his character outside of Jumanji was more impactful than anything else, because of what.
Oh my God. Can we talk about like the final scene and how like I got fucking chills?
Did you tear up a little bit?
No, I did not. I did not tear up. I got freaked the fuck out. Like
Why?
The idea of living your life for and I did not get this way for the first like movie of Jumanji, and I've been getting it recently. So like I'm assuming this is because I'm getting older. So basically like everybody goes back in time or whatever. He goes back to his time. He grows up in the next 20 years and he's just living his fucking life. He meets a chick. He like has babies. He's like there and active at home, and then just like living your life. And then on a regular random day, you're just showing up at your like childhood home, and you look down the road and there's these 4 kids, and you're just like, today's the day. Like it's come, it's here, it's finally just, it fucked me up, that idea of like knowing something is coming, and for 20 years and fucking this is it, it was just fucked me up. The and it's not supposed to
I know, is that a big mind blower or what? It's like
what? Nick Jonas is a Disney star like a decade ago. It was him and like his brothers, and they had a TV show, and they were a band, and they did all the things, the Jonas Brothers. And he's the one who like came out of it. He was basically Justin Timberlake, who came out.
Basically,
so
he was
music, but Disney kind of things.
He was the one single in the band that actually became famous.
Yeah, because he did a lot of the writing of the music, and
yeah.
And he was not the heartthrob in terms of now kind of thing. So yeah. Like his character just took it for face value that Jack was really a teenage girl, and never freaked out about interacting or flirting with Jack. That's a good point. Yeah, you treated the teenage girl with respect throughout. Interesting enough. I like it. Oh yeah.
Plot twist.
Kind of
he goes there. He's like,
it's 20 years later, and I kind of want to.
I know who you are.
But like,
I know who you are. I know who you are. Not sure who you are. You're like, that'd been funny. Like I forgot who you guys were.
Nice.
That guy's got some excellent memory, because I would have totally forgotten about that shit 20-something years later. That had to be...
Wait, you would have forgotten that you lived for 2 months in a, like, I guess because it wasn't like 20 years. Yeah.
20
years?
Have
20 years of memories.
Like
Robin Williams did. Yeah, you only had 2 months. So it was like a summer. I bet you Robin Williams never forgot about, or Alan Parrish never forgot about Jumanji, because he spent like half his life there.
Well, I would think of it for him, it was more like an extensive, like, camp. Like, basically a summer camp. You have long-lasting friends and things like that you remember.
No, for For Robin Williams, it was like he lived another life. He
Yeah,
had
he lived like a
years of
long
memory.
life.
Meanwhile, Metallica Kid had 2 months. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, actually,
yeah,
he
okay.
said
I
it
feel
was
like you
2
could forget.
months, but
Well,
we don't know. But
like
but
2 months for
it
him.
could have
And
been
that's
much
what mattered.
longer. He doesn't know.
But it
He couldn't
mattered
tell.
that he thought it was 2 months. Like, that's the issue. So, like, sometimes you forget that you went abroad for, like, the summer, something like that. Like, it's still with you, but, like,
I wouldn't
you
have
can be at the
forgotten
grocery
being stuck in a
store
video game jungle,
and-
but I wouldn't have actually remembered everyone's name. I mean,
Well, I mean, unless it was, like, the chick who saved your life, because then
yeah,
called
you named
it.
he named his daughter after her. You know?
Well, and also, it was like a high, and it was like a day that he got to know them. Like,
Yeah.
what, 6 hours of gameplay? Like,
I know, it's like-
it was in a day. They were like, no camping, no anything.
I know.
Even the bad guy stopped for camp.
I know the bad guy stopped the camp for 5 seconds. They didn't do anything. Oh, they had margaritas.
They had margaritas.
They had,
you're right.
Yeah.
Which apparently weren't good to the nerds because they never had alcohol, but were
Yeah.
really good because cheerleader chick loved them. But I guess she wasn't a cheerleader. Never mind. She would have been wearing.
And Kevin Hart was like, "Hey guys,
like,
up? This is some good shit."
yeah, because he's the football player. So
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
of course,
so
yeah.
both of them made sense. It's
Yeah,
just
it
like,
all made sense.
delish. Which, what a weird strength.
He must have wrote it down somewhere. He probably
versus-
kept a journal. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if anything, I would have wrote a novel because that shit's like novel worthy.
Well, that's
you know?
how we got Jumanji, the book.
Oh,
Oh no.
explode.
That's only on like 10 milligrams. of
Okay,
pie.
so-
And then I like
so-
start doing shit. I'm like, oh fuck, the author actually lived through this, and he's trying to cover up everything. And all
Okay,
that.
so for his character though, what would you pick, as far as like, good, bad, or badass?
Wait, for who?
The Nick Jonas' character, like
Oh,
I would have to say you have to
he
put
was
both.
a no one. I just
So
he
good.
was hardly a missing piece. He was hardly all I could see was Nick Jonas. Because we didn't know anything about Metallica Kid. Not really. He was just a
Yeah,
kid who
I
got
honestly
the game.
didn't really see him as like a part of the. I didn't see him. I saw the four
Absolutely not.
characters, and I didn't see him as the fifth.
I
That's that.
absolutely agree.
I did not see him as the
Meanwhile-
fifth character. I saw him as the fourth, the one character that was just like an extra that just happened to come
Not
along.
an NPC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for Alan Parrish, he was the center.
Yeah.
But that's also because it was a board game where you had to take turns, and so it mattered. His entire character
Yeah.
and him being like, no, you have to play the game. And he's like, fuck that, I'll never play the game. No, this is insane. No, but we have to finish it. No, we have. So that was its own like 20 minutes kind of thing. Meanwhile, in this, you could choose to not play with each other, just like an open world, like
Yeah.
Gary's mod, and just go out and just be like, no, I'm not gonna play. So it's like, okay, then I guess we're stuck here. Thanks. Like,
Yeah.
it's just.
I mean, to find out that
that
they
is
actually
crazy.
needed each other to get out, you know.
That's
Yeah,
true.
the
That's true.
NPC in the trunk was more memorable than Nick Jonas. That is so
I kinda
true.
Agree.
We
I do because we all remembered like.
So
you gotta
I'm gonna
make
have
it
to
through the game
give-
and then you say its name. Like we remembered that shit. So, yeah.
I'm
I
not gonna
think-
say. I have to give Nick Jonas' character a bad because he was not very memorable. His role just didn't fit. I know. So
But if he had more.
some girl out there is like, oh no, you ain't gonna talk about my man Nick Jonas. And she's gonna be like, getting up all in my business. But
if they
yeah,
had more Nick
NPC in the
Jonas,
truck
that means
is
we would
got
have less
his character
others.
was badass because it was just it fit so well. The fact that like he was introducing himself to each one like an NPC would, like, hello, you must be this one. And then like he only directs himself to
agree.
like the person that he
That's
needed to.
He wasn't given much. Yeah. Yeah.
He
I mean,
he did good.
with what he was given.
He did good, but it just
He's
did.
like, I'm a kid pilot. Like
I feel like
at
it
least
just.
everybody else had like a more adult and
I feel like Nick Jonas's character as a
And he was,
pilot,
like-
it just didn't seem like that's what like whenever I picture a person as a pilot, I honestly don't picture a person like that as a pilot.
Not Nick Jonas. Yeah,
I know.
no.
You don't picture Nick Jonas as a pilot?
Where was my Liam Hemsworth? Where was my... But we couldn't have that because we had The Rock. So you couldn't have another buff dude because you had a short black guy, and then it was like, oh no, you have no strength. Like,
yeah, but we could...
As his weakness, strength.
I thought we could have had, like, maybe... I don't know. Who would...
But that's why you couldn't have a buff dude. So, like, which means you could have had, like, a tight... acrobatic Tom Cruise kind of I want to be Tom Cruise, exactly. That would have been a Top Gun kind of guy where like his build is more of a like a baseball player build, and then that would have made more sense. That would have been more of like a fly guy kind of thing. Yeah, no, I do agree with you. And I think it was Nick Jonas was simply in there because he brings the younger crowd, the same reason The Greatest Showman had Zendaya and had Zac Efron. Because that was that Disney crowd and the Disney tweets being like, "Oh man, check out like Nick Jonas if you can."
So there you go. I would have to say it's bad because of the fact that they could have put someone better in there in that role, someone more memorable.
But okay, so here's the question: who else in the Disney world for that role would you have chosen? Because that's who that role was. That was a combination between that is a combination between Sony and Disney working together.
Ooh,
just like they
what if they had someone like
X-Men working together,
like older and grizzled?
That is one of the things in the contracts that they have signed away, and that's why we got Nick Jonas. Throwing that out.
What if the pilot was Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford is not owned by Disney. Like he's not.
Star Wars.
Harrison Ford does not bring the younger generation.
I know,
if it was Zac Efron,
I was thinking like someone older, like when I think of pilot, that way he could have used a funny line like "Get off my plane," like something like that.
But he would have been too old.
Funny,
and
I know.
He would have been,
I know, but it would be funny though to find out like the old guy is like the youngest of the group.
That's so true. But that would have been interesting. Where if he was
Bradley
a metal
Cooper,
kid,
I know
he was like a goth dude. Bradley Cooper, I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm okay with Bradley Cooper.
See?
Oh my god, or fucking. Oh my god. Oh, what am I even thinking of? What's his name? Texan.
Channing Tatum.
No. Older. Sahara.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Other movie.
And TV.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
That's who. Nephew, how have you been, sweetie? What are you doing? By how much would you reasonably pay too much for a computer and a monitor? Streaming PC, I paid $1,300, and monitors, all three of them were like $50 each because garage sales.
He's like, I've been stuck here for like months. I haven't gotten anywhere past that level in the game. It would have fit so well.
So good.
Screw you, Nick Jonas. We don't need you.
And he would have been just as yummy. The issue was that.
But not for the younger crowd.
So, but the reason for him being Nick Jonas was for the 17-year-old to actually fall for him and get invested because he was the point of her whole character arc. So she has to be.
You're right. No, not Owen Wilson. Hell's no.
Owen Wilson is busy doing Wonder at the time. He was filming with Julia Roberts and like Fucked Up Face Kid, like in that movie. Which was a pretty good movie, but it's everything you would expect on I have like a fucked up face kid and this is the movie about it. Right? Like this. It's all after school special. But Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson being Owen Wilson, and he does say, "What?" Like, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
God, if it's a free ticket.
I feel like it
would be Zac Efron. That would be your other choice. Disney does not have that many leading males, especially now that like the Jake Logan Paul's left. It would have been that.
But I'd still give it a bad. I still think they could have probably found someone better in that role. I don't know, someone a little more memorable.
No, absolutely agree.
Okay, so for the NPC in the truck, that guy, British dude. I gotta give him a badass. That role, he played that one. He played it so perfectly. It was like It's like, welcome to Jumanji. I'm your tour guide. What was his name? Nigel or something like that? I don't know. It could have been.
Nigel sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Australian. Yeah.
It's like, Dr. Livingstone. Bravestone. Yes, Dr. Bravestone. Welcome to Jumanji.
It's always Nigel. It has to be Nigel.
I was like, that was like the best part of the whole game.
And you're right. It was just like a video game. And
Yes.
He
He basically, he set the tone.
Yeah.
He set the tone of like, welcome to Jumanji. As you can see here, it's a dangerous place full of dangerous things. It's like, you know who would have been perfect? Steve Irwin.
Oh, okay, I suppose so.
Oh man.
But like, were the other actors in the first movie?
I would have so loved if Steve Irwin were to
people?
step in and do that. But man,
But
he
this
would
was
have
just
been perfect.
a tour guide. Like he wasn't. No, you couldn't have Steve Irwin because Kevin Hart's character was zoologist. So unless Steve Irwin, it would have had to been a plot point, or a riddle or something where the NPC is telling you misinformation, but then
But
Kevin
he
Hart,
could have taken him like,
correctly
instead of in a
identifies.
truck, it could have been an open truck, and he would have just like chopping through stuff and everything. Like, there's dangerous things right here, like this right here. See, I have this like dangerous spider in my hand. Yeah, just toss it.
Oh, really? Interesting. They're making a Steve Irwin movie.
Oh, they are. Oh, cool.
Their daughter is like
His
really
son,
pretty.
His son is just like him. It's like they went to a lab and cloned him, and that's basically going to become him. His son is just like him. It was so heartwarming to see like his son just carrying on with his father's legacy. It was so nice.
That's so interesting. Where it's like they had a different lifestyle completely.
They chose a terrible actor for it though. Dang it. They're never gonna get the perfect actor. No ever like story.